Okay. Welcome back to the Talkisode series presented to you by UMR-ACUHO. My name is Dallas Lansanese. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I'm a hall director at North Dakota State University. And with me as a co-host, I have,
Nathan Dozier, I use he, him, his, and I am assistant director over at Kansas State University.
and his hat is much cooler than mine. And
Molly
today,
Moot.
exactly, Molly Moo, love, forever. I don't remember the phrases, but I know that's in the McCurr world. I'm going to keep going. And today, like I said, we have another Talkasode episode for you. Today, we have with me our very special guest.
Haley Doze. Hello. How are you all?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How are you?
We're chilling. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm Haley Doze, she, hers. I'm a complex director at the University of Kansas, and I'm real pumped to be here with you all today.
Awesome. We are excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Nathan, if you kind of want to kick us off, that'd be sick.
Yeah, so Haley, so who are you out? Sorry, I guess first I almost jumped the gun. I didn't want to. Can you tell us about your current role?
Yeah. So, like I said, Haley Doe, she, hers. I'm currently a complex director at the University of Kansas. That is where I'm sporting today with my hat. Within that role, it's similar to like a hall coordinator, residence hall coordinator position. So it's our live-in staff position here. It's just named a little differently than I've seen it at other institutions. I get to oversee a staff of like 18 and then two grad students, which is like the best part of my job. I really love supervising, so that's really exciting. And then for UMR-ACUHO, I am the communications coordinator. It's currently an appointed position to the executive committee, and this next year we're actually going to be running elections for it for this next cycle. So stay tuned for UMR Day, which is late July, because we are going to be pushing out information about elections, the annual conference, how to register, all of that good stuff. So that's a little bit about me and what I do.
Awesome. I, for one, am excited about UMR Day. What a great addition to our region. I actually have it marked on my personal calendar, and every day I wake up to a sticky note attached to my ceiling that has it on there.
I
Um,
love it.
so yeehaw to that. But no, thank you for kind of giving us some insight of what you do in both your campus life and the region life when it comes to your position. But kind of what are you doing outside of your job? Who is Haley Doe?
Yeah. So first of all, I have a dog. I love to talk about her. She is like 90% of my personality, which is, I think most dog owners, but especially me and my husband. So her name is Juno. She's a 60-pound golden doodle. She is insane. Like, I don't know any other way to describe her. She's like, if you imagine a small child in a restaurant,
What happened?
What happened?
you
No,
disappeared, Dallas.
Just for a
sick.
moment.
Still says it's recording. So what we'll do, Nathan, the
We're
editor,
gonna keep going.
we're
I
gonna.
Yep.
love it.
Okay, I don't know what will happen, Nathan, to this recording on your end when you start looking at it.
That's
Can you
fine.
guys hear me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're both moving really slow on my end, but that's fine because it won't record the slowness. It will record the actual call. Regardless, um, I'm gonna re-ask the who are you outside of your job? And and Nathan's gonna find a great time to somehow cut from that first part to the second question. And if it doesn't look good, we'll blame Nathan.
Magic. Love it.
Okay, and if it messes up again, then I shouldn't be the host of this.
There.
That's fair.
because like I'm saying, like visually not going well on my end, but and this has never happened. Nathan can attest to
This,
it.
yes, we've been doing this for 2 years almost.
And my internet's
So it's
never
me.
messed up.
Oh no.
No,
Oh,
no.
it's Haley. Haley did it.
It's me. It's
Yeah,
my sensor lights that just
that's
went
okay.
off.
I'll forgive you.
So yeah.
Okay, I hope this recording works. But I'm just gonna ask. We're just gonna do it. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, I'm so sorry I wasted your time.
No,
Um,
it's okay. I'm happy to re-record if it doesn't work.
at some point,
So
yeah. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So like I said, if everyone's ready, I'm just gonna re-ask as if nothing happened and we're gonna cut.
Yeah.
Okay. Sick.
Funny.
Shit I've ever seen. It's the
That
funniest shit.
I cannot believe that's the moment that you left.
Dude, I'm gonna get close. I'm gonna get close to the camera real quick for this. One,
really,
what the fuck? Two, you know what's fun? I can't wait to see the recording of this, of like what the fuck it looks like when it blacks out like that.
I
Yeah.
think you should like just post a blooper reel.
Yeah, we
I think
could.
it's iconic. It'd be so good.
We post this as if it's an actual episode, but it's just this. It's just
Yeah,
us freaking
Yeah,
out because my internet's messing up.
I love
just
it.
every one of us crashing out and not not doing what we said we'd do.
I just I'm just so curious of like what happens to the recording when it boots me out. Does it keep recording?
I'm
Because
wondering
It
if it'll be
says
separate
recording
recordings.
stopped and then
and then it hops back in.
Yeah.
yeah, it says recording stopped and then when you come back on, it says it starts again.
Hmm.
Okay, I hate it. But I will say, ever since the reboot, after the reboot, y'all aren't going slow for me. So maybe this is the time.
Okay.
Oh, I've
Pretty much.
lied. Well, um, okay. Like I said, I'm gonna ask the question, and if it boots out again and it doesn't work, then we maybe we'll just work to reschedule and figure it out later.
Works for me.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 Okay. For the editor, uh, thanks for giving us some information on kind of what you do as a professional at your campus and in the UMR world. But I think what our viewers are really interested in is who are you outside of your job?
Yes, so I can't talk about this without talking about my dog. I have a 60-pound golden doodle named Juno, also referred to as Juno Baby. Um, Juno Baby is a menace to society, and she's 90% of my personality. So she if you like have ever gone into a restaurant and you see like a small child that's just like really overstimulated and they're just like really excited. That is my dog all the time. And like, I don't know how to like run the energy out of her. So she's like 90% of who I am outside of work. My husband and I spend a lot of time just with her. I'm also married. Brett Doze is my husband. He is my better half, truly. And I think most people that know us would say that too. He's like very calm, cool, collected, and I am also the high energy, like just really unwell human, like my dog, if you will. So that's a little bit about like life at home. Outside of that, I really love to chef it up. I love to cook. I waitressed for 12 years, so I really enjoy like food in the service industry. I also think they should be paid a living wage and not have to depend on tips. So that's a big thing that I'm a fan of. And then yeah, I'm really into Love Island right now. I I think I am on the reality TV train really hard. So Love Island is also like who I am outside of work currently. Um, I very much just watched the episode. I don't know if either of you watch Love Island, but there's a real great episode with the heart rate challenge and Huda and Ace and everybody are fighting and it's such good TV. So, real big fan of that.
I am not into Love Island. My wife also watches a lot of Love Island right now, and at this point, I think she's about ready to go back into past seasons to watch just what everything has been up until here.
Oh,
But
it's so good.
I'm not a reality TV guy.
If you want to like disassociate from life, it is my it is my number one recommendation. Like if somebody just really training, when I start training July 21st for the academic year, every night, reality TV. Best way to like turn it off and recoup with some me time before I go back to being people person all day long. So that's where I will be.
Well, to ask you more about People Person, what is your higher ed story? How did you get into the field? And what has been the timeline of like different positions and institutions you've been at?
Yeah. So I actually started at my rival school currently, so K-State. That's where I did undergrad. I'm also, don't tell the rest of the Jayhawks, but I'm a big K-State fan, always have been, grew up a K-State fan. Family goes to football every year. So you might see me around. I'm on campus often during that season. So I didn't initially think I was gonna go into higher ed, like a lot of I think traditionally higher ed folks. I was not an RA. I didn't live on campus at any point. I actually lived in like an off-campus community living environment, so which was really great. Um, but I joined student government when I was at K-State and got really involved with that. And specifically, K-State does something really cool with their student government where the judicial side of their student government actually gets to hear conduct cases and work with their conduct office on campus for conduct concerns that happen outside of their on-campus living environments. So that's how it was when I was there anyway. They could have changed it by now, but it was just a really neat opportunity for me to see some of the conversations that happened with students when they impacted other students on campus. And I really enjoyed that. I felt like we got to help a lot of people and also be involved with elections. So I had a really great advisor at the time who is still at K-State. Shout out to Andy Thompson, who was like, "Hey, have you thought about grad school and maybe doing that?" Um, so I looked into that. I actually wanted to go to grad school at K-State, and he was really great and was like, "You should try to get a different experience outside of just your favorite institution ever." It'll make you grow and all the different things. So I was initially gonna go to Clemson and then had some family things happen that kept me in state and ended up at KU. KU, I did the housing track when I was there in grad school and like I said, had never worked in housing. Think I was like super overwhelmed my first year and don't really realize how overwhelmed I was until after I was outside of it. But I also really loved it. And I had a lot of great people who looked out for me and just took care of me when I was here and really invested in me as a person. Um, and I think that's when for me stuff started to click and I was like, no, I actually like really want to do this and stay in this field. I am one of the unfortunate souls who graduated during COVID. So my track I think looks a little different than a lot of people's because I was a finalist at four different schools on the East Coast, was really excited to move out there. My husband and I were pretty committed to wanting to try and be out on the East Coast and as we know, the East Coast is like one of the first places that completely shut down. So all these schools called me and were like, "Hey, by the way, thanks so much for applying. We can't hire you." And I was like, "That's really great. That's cool." So my husband ended up being the one who got a job first, and at the time, we were like, well, if we have to like quarantine together and everything, we're gonna move together, even if I don't have a position yet. So we moved out to Colorado. We were in Denver. I got a job outside of housing because I couldn't find a housing job in Colorado at the time, and worked as the clubs and organizations coordinator at Colorado School of Mines. That was one of the best jobs that I've ever had, and I loved it so much. Um, but we didn't love Denver, which made it really, really hard. So we were there for about 2 years and then decided when we were looking at what was next, like we really want to get back to Lawrence, Kansas. We loved it there. Brett actually did his undergrad here and has a lot of ties to Lawrence, grew up a Jayhawk. And then I just really love the town. Like I said, I'm a big K-State fan, but Lawrence is just like a really unique community and has a lot for everyone. So we ended up back here, and I've been a complex director at KU now for, I'm in my fourth year. So obviously have really enjoyed it and have had a fun time. Love the Lawrence community, love supervising, which I get to do that a lot here, and really get a lot of autonomy in my role, which is cool. So that's kind of my track.
It's always fun for me to hear the pathway of people who weren't like higher ed folk initially. Love anyone who like knew from like the jump that this is what they wanted to do. But like I also wasn't an RA like throughout undergrad. I did
Mhm.
like RA adjacent things, but never found myself in that specific position. So I always find it really fun to hear how everyone's path is different, but then we all kind of we find our way to this podcast, or this talk. So apologies, I misspoke. Uh,
Yep.
but but yeah, you were talking about all the good things and all the things that you enjoy, but anything like specific job wise, like what are your favorite parts of your current role?
Yeah, I mean, for me, supervision is like 90% of why I do this job. The people that I get to work with, like, first of all, I couldn't do the job without them, right? They are RAs, and grad staff are truly the boots on the ground folks who are doing, there are first responders, they are the ones who are like in our halls with the students. I live in the hall as well, but they live in the hall. So I just have a lot of respect for them and a lot of respect for the work that they do as both students and employees, and all of the things that they bring to the campus community. They're also just like so incredibly unique. My group this last year, was I had a rocket science engineer, business students, I had an art student. So just like a really wide variety, and they're also driven, which is also just incredible to see. Like I felt like I was a pretty driven student, and then I meet the students I supervise, and I'm like, nah, I was messing around compared to these kids. They got it on lock. So, I also supervised a grad student this last year who was in law school, which was wild. Shout out to Stephanie. She's incredible. Um, but yeah, supervision, obviously, I really enjoy my team, have a lot of respect for what they do and the work that they do with students. Outside of that, I think within my role specifically, where I'm in my fourth year now, I'm our most like senior complex director, if you will. I really am enjoying like some of the mentorship opportunities I'm getting to have with other people in my position who are just starting or have just started within the last year. I think our team is really awesome, and it's cool to get to see all the different strengths that we bring and different things that we like to do. And then in our department as a whole, I think something that I really enjoy is that our department is always willing to like ask more questions or figure stuff out. It's never just like a hard no, if you will. So there's been a lot of collaboration. This last year, especially, I think has been hard for everyone across the United States with everything we have going on. But I've appreciated some of the conversations I've gotten to have with our assistant director team about how can we continue to do this work in a different way so that we can keep our funding and also keep serving students and all this different stuff. So that's been something that I've enjoyed being able to be a part of those conversations and trying to look at the bigger picture. I think it's challenged me a lot and has also made me a better professional. So I'm never bored, if you will. There's always something to do and things to work on and students to try to connect with and different pieces like that. So, and then here at KU, I think we do have a particular student population at times where we do have like a pretty high level of parent involvement on some different things. So navigating that at the level that we do, I mean, truly, like talking to some folks who have come from other places and then come into KU, like it's a different beast at times. And I don't necessarily love that all the time, but think in a lot of ways I've learned to appreciate that perspective and trying to help parents understand I can't tell you information, but I can tell you that your student can tell me information or give me permission to. So maybe call them while they're meeting with me or something. Different, I don't know, different workarounds, trying to help parents understand how they can connect with us. And then in general, like I think that parent aspect of just how do we make them feel okay, even if we can't give them what they need? And I think something that I enjoy with that, or why I enjoy that, is just how long I worked in the service industry and like the customer service piece. I think that's important to try and do and to try and help people understand because I can sit here all day and I know exactly why I can't tell them information, but a parent doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs of FERPA. So taking the time to do that and explain things, I really get a lot of enjoyment from being able to help people understand and help people understand how to navigate institutions because it's not always the easiest to do. So,
Thank you so much, Haley. One of my last questions for you, probably my last question for you, is do you have any advice for young professionals?
get involved in UMR-ACUHO, number one. Truly though, I feel like I've grown a lot and learned a lot from the professionals I've gotten to meet in this organization, and it's given me opportunities that I don't necessarily have at my institution. So, and the networking is great. Like you're not gonna want to live it. I mean, if you do want to live in forever, awesome. But you're not gonna want to live in forever. I don't. So being able to network and understand that you might have to move institutions and having built those connections is really great. Um, Outside of that, I think understanding that there is a bigger picture. I think something I really struggled with when I was a grad student and when I was in my first year, um, as a new professional was I wanted to try and fix and change everything. And I would highly recommend your first year as a new professional, just try to like learn and absorb everything. Learn your institutional processes, learn your policies, take the time to get to know and learn your team and your staff, all your different facilities. You're gonna get to change things and be a part of conversations, but I am very much of the opinion that it's really hard to do that if you don't first understand the place that you are at and the people you're working with. And just to be frank, it can rub people the wrong way when you come in and you're just like, let's try to change this. This is bad. without trying to understand any of the context of why something might be the way that it is. So, just really absorb, take in information, and then trust me, you will have opportunities to be at those tables. And if you're not, go and ask somebody. Ask your supervisor, ask an assistant director, ask your director, like, hey, I know our department does this. I've been here for a bit. I have some great ideas. I'd love to be a part of that conversation. How do I get involved? So also let people know that you want to be a part of those things. Um, Take your PTO. Like, it's there for a reason. You are not gonna be well if you don't take your PTO. Um, Nobody achieves anything by working all the time. So take your PTO and then advocate for yourself. There, there will be great people in your career who advocate on behalf of you. But no one's going to advocate for yourself better than you or know better what you need than you. And if you don't know what you need, take the time to figure that out. Spent a lot of time in therapy figuring out what I need, and I think everybody should do it. But if you don't, like, write some things down that you need, figure out how to advocate for yourself in spaces. Because people aren't going to do that for you all the time. And it's important that you learn that before you move up. So when you get into, right, people aren't going to always advocate for you in different spaces. And as you move up, it's just so important to do that. So, yeah.
No, no, that's awesome. I appreciate all of that. One more thing that we have for you before we sign off for today is giving you the open mic that we've already given you to respond to the questions we had, and your soapbox of your choosing, whatever you want to talk about. This is your floor to do it.
Magic. Okay. So I thought quite a bit about this and I was like, oh, do I like make it professional or do I make this super fun and random? And I have chosen to go the fun and random route because I just think we need more of that in life. Um, so my soapbox is actually a question for you all. And I would love to hear the debate on this.
Uh-oh.
Is cereal a soup?
No, no,
Great question.
no.
Great question. Um, I have been on record saying that cereal is breakfast soup. And like people and like the internet will say like different depending on like what's the definition of broth? Does broth have to be hot? Like I don't know, because like milk is the broth, and then the cereal you put in would be the ingredients that you're adding. Yes, I think breakfast is a soup.
And I want to just say, as currently, right now, the expert on milk, milk is not a broth. That does not mean that doesn't mean cereal's not a soup, for the record. I'm not saying. But milk is not a broth. No matter what flavor, that's like saying that water plus Crystal Light is a broth because it's flavored liquid. And that's not true. And don't you dare. Don't you dare. But then it's the question of, well, would a bouillon cube then make something a broth? And the answer is yes. So I want to say no. Because this has the same energy of is water wet, and I don't want to talk about that. That is not what you asked, and this is not the space for that conversation because it'll break up this podcast, I promise. But I could be convinced easily to say that cereal is a soup, but cereal is not a soup to me.
Okay, here's my hot take. Cereal is not a soup because you don't have to cook it. Soup you have to put together. It's an actual recipe that you have to make versus cereal, you literally, right, you pour cereal into a bowl with milk.
I'm gonna go before Dallas does. I gotta jump the gun. I know what he's gonna say because there are cold soups and there are soups that are different. And I've made the exact same argument in my past of saying that because it's not cooked, it's not a soup. But then some people say, well, technically the pasteurization process like involves heat, and then the cereal has to be cooked to be dried. So technically all the components are cooked, they're just not cooked together. Then when you have a soup mix, that's all cooked differently, but then put all together. So I assume one of those things is what Dallas is going to say.
Well, if that's the no, I won't get too again. I could
Thank
go
you.
off. I won't too much. But Haley, I must ask then an additional follow-up kind of thing.
Okay.
If if from your perspective, cereal is not a soup because it's not being cooked for does that make cereal to you a salad? Because salad you just prepare. You don't cook salad.
You didn't ask me.
No.
Because why not? Well,
Salad,
because the milk could just be the dressing. The cereal could just be. Hey, no, I'm just comparing analogies wise, Nathan. I'm just asking
no.
because. Okay, okay, okay.
And right, I think it'd be too liquidy to be a salad. Because if you had a salad that was like all dressing, that I mean,
And then it's just a
you're
soup,
basically
right?
eating dressing.
No, and then it's just a soup, which would make it a cereal soup.
No, it's a different consistency. It's different. But
Nathan,
soup,
pass it back.
yes.
I'll go up to the mic to ask my question. Is a glass of ice water cereal?
No.
Why?
Because like now from because of how words work. Now if we're gonna get into that, we've given the definition of what cereal is. We've given the definition of what soup is. We've given the definition of what salad is. So from what the universally accepted definition of cereal is, no. But when you consider what cereal is item in liquid, you could say that a glass of ice water is cereal.
Water cereal. But it's not water soup. Would it be cereal more if I put the crushed Sonic ice in a bowl of water and then ate it with a spoon?
No, because it doesn't have a milk base.
I've seen
And
people eat cereal with
because
water.
Jesus.
I've seen it with
Okay.
orange juice too. So like, is cereal happy milk? But that's not the question. The question was, is cereal soup?
Which
I think the other argument that I have is like cereal is the actual like thing that you're putting into the bowl. You can eat cereal dry. You
Okay.
can eat cereal like with milk. You can eat cereal with water. Most people put milk in their cereal, but cereal is the actual thing that you're pouring out of the box into the bowl, right? Like mom brings a bag of Cheerios for kiddo at a restaurant. That's cereal. So
I
in their Cheerios.
I'm gonna blow this whole thing out of the water. I
Oh
apologize.
God.
We have concluded that cereal is a grain, some grain thing in milk. It can just be grain, but traditionally grain in milk.
Mm-hmm.
Is cream corn cereal?
And I think that's all that we have time for today on our talkisode. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening along. If I'm being honest, in comparison to when this was recorded, when this gets posted, I don't know. So whenever y'all see this is when y'all see this. And I hope this was enough content, enough good content for you to want to come back for the next one. And so we'll see you whenever we see you next. Did I stop it?